Hello and welcome to another trip report. My first one on Norway on a domestic train from Kristiansand to Oslo. This is on the Stavanger to Oslo railway line. Really looking forward to this. Norway is a beautiful country and just wondering what kind of trip report do you like me to make here? Let me know in the comments. I already have a fixed schedule for this trip, so won't go too much in Norway for now. Anyway, what trip reports do you like me to make in Norway? Let me know in the comments, or Nordic countries anyway. For this video I will show you a tiny bit of the ferry terminal of Kristiansand. We arrived with a ferry from the Netherlands, came from Eemshaven. We have a good connection on the train to Groningen, local trains. I will show you the railway station, tell you something about the trains and show you the trains as good as possible. Trains in Norway can be quite busy though, so hope it won't be too busy to film. I hope you'll like this video. If you do so, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more train and ferry related videos, this channel is mainly focusing on long distance and international train and ferry traveling. Subscribe to my channel, and for now, let's roll the intro. We arrived in Norway with a ferry that came from the Netherlands. This is a new ferry connection and I also made a trip report about this. At the moment you leave the ferry terminal, you'll be straight away at the bus station, and right next to the bus station you will find the railway station. The old city center is not that far away from here either. Kristiansand seems to me like a very compact town. Near the stations for both the bus and the railway, you will find taxi stands. This is, for example, if you walk a little bit into the direction of the city center, and right next to the bus stop there's also a taxi stand. You won't find only local buses here, but also lots of long distance buses. For example, this bus that was going to Oslo, the same destination as we had today by train. For the bus stop, there's also a warm waiting room inside, and there are lots of screens with information about departing buses. The building right next to the bus stop is really neat, I do have to say. Apart from good information, but these screens don't work that well with my camera by the way, there are also toilets, is a warm waiting room over here, and there's even a convenience store. I mean, this is really nice and you won't find this in the railway station, although this is located right next to the railway station. International ferries to Denmark and the Netherlands, long distance buses, city buses and trains. Well, I think this spot is a true intermodal transport hub. Some offices of car rental companies can be found right next to the railway station. They do have their desks within the railway station. And for now I also think it's time to go to this railway station, because after all, this is a trip report on a train and not on a bus or a ferry. If you want to see more about the ferry that took me here, well, like I mentioned before, I made a video about that. The railway station building doesn't host that much facilities. A convenience store can be found within the bus station, and over here you only will find some places where you can wait, some lockers, desks for car rental companies, a vending machine for train tickets, and of course lots of screens that will host information about departing trains. As far as I found out, there are 6 tracks over here, but it seemed like only 3 were being used. Our train today arrived and departed from track number 3. At these screens you will find the composition of the train, so you know where to stand at the platform. This will refer to letters you can find at the platform. Announcements for arriving and departing trains are being made in Norwegian and in English. So, as a foreign traveler, it's quite easy to travel over here. In Norway they do speak very good English in general. They do have another funny accent than what I do have, because I do have the Dutch funny accent. And this here is my train coming in. We were having a locomotive hauled train on this route, but you also might find these trains. These trains are tilting trains and can go faster because they can take curves at higher speeds. Back to our locomotive haul train on this route. At the doors, the carriage numbers have been clearly written and seats do mainly face the driving direction. This might be that if you're traveling on this route from Stavanger to Oslo, that for one part of the journey you might have seats with a table in between and the other part of the journey you do have seats in an airline style composition. So if you book your tickets and you select the seats on the map, please make sure that do the things you like. If you prefer airline style seats, don't book the first two and the last two rows. And if you prefer seats facing each other, I think this won't be a problem if you let the seats face each other for the entire journey, to be honest. We've booked our tickets via Entor. You can select on the map what seat you like to have, and in general for trains in Norway, at least for long distance trains, tickets do include a seat reservation. If you book your ticket earlier, the prices are lower, and last minute, of course, it's based on the amount of passengers, the prices are higher. But last minute, the high price tickets might also be a little bit more flexible. Even though the higher price tickets might be more flexible, they are still for a specific train only. This doesn't count for commuter trains though. Even though Norway isn't anything near a cheap country to go to, train tickets can be quite affordable if you book them on time. Apart from the sleeping trains, the regular trains in Norway do come in one class only. On some routes there might be a difference in service, but the seats are exactly the same. This is actually pretty much always in a 2x2 configuration, and like I mentioned, on some routes the tickets do include a seat reservation. Most seats do come in an airline style composition, like I mentioned before. Near the entrance doors there are basic maps that will show what safety facilities can be found where at the carriage. And at the beginning of all open compartments there is a lot of space for luggage. Of course, the overhead luggage racks do provide a lot of luggage space as well, and at the middle of these carriages there is some extra luggage space. Within the luggage racks you will find the seat numbers, and right below that there are reading lights. In front of the seats there are power plugs, there's one power plug per seat, and the seats that do come in an airline style composition do have a table you can fold out in the seat in front of you. Below that there's a magazine rack, and right below that you'll find a footrest. Seats can be reclined with the use of a handle at the side. And I found out, because some seats do face each other in some specific situations, that some specific seats do have way more legroom than other seats, as you can see over here. Well, basically this is the same, you can recline the seats as well, and over here I do have way more legroom. You can recline the lower part of the seat with the use of this handle that's right located under the seat. In case seats do face each other, there's quite a small table between the seats at the window. At the end of the compartment there are LED screens that will host route information, and the announcements are being made in both Norwegian and English. Of course, right next to the windows there are coat hangers, and in the middle of these carriages there's also a coat hanger with some extra space for luggage. This is also where you find bigger garbage bins and smaller bags you can use to collect your garbage at the seats. All windows do have a sunscreen, by the way. Of course, there are different kinds of toilets. This is a toilet that can also be turned into a nursery space for babies and is also accessible for people with mobility problems. The regular toilets are still quite big. However, they do not have the nursery space for babies, but they still do have these support bars for people who need this. This train does have 3 carriages for passengers and 1 dining car. This train consisted of 3 carriages, and 1 carriage is slightly different. There you find this play area for kids. I really like this, and traveling by train is of course a lot of fun for kids, but this makes it more fun. Apart from that, if they just want to run around, they're not bothering other passengers that much. In this carriage there's also some extra space for wheelchairs, as you saw there. And even though this train is not accessible in terms of being low to the platform, at this point you also find elevators next to the doors for people traveling in a wheelchair or with mobility problems in general to enter this train. I think you have an impression of how these trains look like. Before I'll show you some views from the train, I'll show you the dining car, because if there's one thing I really like, this is having a dining car on board of a train. And this dining car is quite spacious, I do have to say. There are different kinds of seats, as you can see over here. Not all of them are really comfortable, but if you move to the other side of the dining car, there are way more comfortable seats. The food selection is relatively okay. It's not really impressive, but it's not bad either. It's nice that it is there. At last, before I show you some views from the train on this route, let's have a look at the environmental impact if you're traveling by train, car and plane on this route. In terms of carbon dioxide, the plane is 550% more polluting than taking the train. So why even consider flying on this route? By the way, free Wi-Fi is available on board of these trains. If the trains are fully booked, the bus on this route might also be a good alternative. For now, I'll show you some views from the train between Kristiansand and Oslo. I'll get back to you at the end of the video.
It. Come on now, we're making it. Haven't you heard that I like it? Haven't you heard that it feels so right? Haven't you heard, wanna try it? I'm getting in on your good vibe. To love in stereo. Time's slow when you're feeling it. I know you need it. Touchdown, we're driving in. Come on now, we're making it. Haven't you heard that I like it? Haven't you heard that it feels so right? Haven't you heard, wanna try it? I'm getting in on your good vibe. This is what it's like to love in stereo.
That's it for this video. I found out I haven't done a proper end of the video when I was at the railway station in Oslo. I hope you liked this video or this has been a helpful video to you. If so, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or even if you just want to say hello, leave a comment. If you want to see more train related videos, mainly by train and sometimes by ferry, subscribe to my channel. From Oslo we went with a ferry to Copenhagen and from there on back to the Netherlands where I live via Hamburg, the train Copenhagen-Hamburg. I already featured that in another video. All related videos can be found in the description of this video. And something else you can find in the description of this video is a link to a map, and on this map you can find all trip reports I did. The lines do indicate the routes and the train and ferry icons do indicate the railway station and ferry terminals. And that way you can have a better overview for if you're looking for specific information for specific routes. Once again, thanks for watching, see you on my next video, and that's it, bye bye!